San Diego and the Gloria Medrano podcast. How's it going, everyone? Welcome in. Come in. Join me. We are going to dive into the Word of God. We're going to pray. We're going to get you encouraged. We're going to get you thinking about all the good qualities that God has given to you through his son Jesus, because Jesus loved you that much. Um, we're going to look at who you are going to, who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe Satan, the liar, or are you going to believe God, the truth, and the way, and the light? Okay? So we're going to go there. We're going to dive deep into that. I'm kind of just being silly right now because you know how I am. I'm always a bit silly. Um, so um, your girl had to put her hat on because like the hair was like out of control today. Okay, so I have worked and I've been getting up early, and so I didn't, my hair was just not, it did not go right today. This is like all kinky or whatever. I don't know what it did. So I put a hat on, okay? This hat I have had for nearly, how long have I had? Gosh, I've had this hat for a long time. I got this hat in London um, when I was living there, and I don't even remember where I got it from. I think I got it from, gosh, was it not New Look? Was it New Look? It might have been New Look. River Island. That's it. I got it from River Island. I gotta look at the tag. So yeah, I got it in London. Hey everyone, I see you guys chiming in now. What's up? Got Morocco in the house. What is going on, Morocco? How's it going? Is my audio okay? Because last time you guys did not tell me that I had static all over my audio. Let me know. What's up, nobody? Nobody is saying hello to everyone. All right, let me see. Oh, they're telling everyone to subscribe. Thank you. Other people are telling people to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for doing that. I don't even say that to people, but I really, really, really appreciate that. Because when I get going, I'm just thinking about the word. I'm thinking about what I'm telling you. I'm thinking about how I'm encouraging you. And I'm not thinking about who's subscribing and all those things. I really am not. So, but hey, when we come on here, us YouTubers, I guess I'm officially a YouTuber. When we come on here, you know what? It's our dream, to have, lots of subscribers, but I'm just those really aren't the things that I'm really thinking about. So thanks for being here. Oh, somebody likes my clothes. Thank you, girl. Bacon girl. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of like a first responder, and I had a smoke alarm today, and when I went to go and check the smoke alarm, um I ran into someone's home, and I they were cooking bacon. I was all I could think about all day was bacon. Oh, thanks. Yeah, the hat, I've had this hat for so long, and I really like the hat. It's kind of hot to wear. It's wool, so it's kind of hot to wear here in San Diego. But every once in a while, I'll bring it back and I'll put it on and I'll wear it. I got so many hats. Oh, I bought a new hat. I got a new summer hat. You could see it. I posted it on my Instagram, but my Instagram's private now. So, but you can see it on my Facebook. You can see it. I posted it on my Facebook. Um, and it is a summer cowboy hat because like I am getting you're like since I've moved back to San Diego and I live kind of like near the country, I have been getting into cowboy hats. I've got a black cowboy hat, which is really cool. I like it. Then I just got this real beachy one that I got. It's like, good for summertime, but it, blocks the sun and stuff. I kind of need that since I've gotten really fair skinned from living in London all those years. I haven't had even an inkling of a chance to get a tan here in San Diego because I've been working my butt off, YouTubing and working my regular job and, doing a podcast, that keeps you busy. And the people, I never ever had trouble finding guests for my interviews ever. All amazing people came onto my podcast and still more want to, but I haven't done any lately. So I haven't done the guests, but yeah, but thanks. Hi, Emily. Oh, okay. Thanks for being here, Emily. And I think the correct name is Pacific. Oh, Emily subscribed to my channel. Yes, Emily. Awesome. Yes. Let's see. Somebody's studying English. You're welcome, Bacon Girl. That was fun. Because my hair is out of control. Somebody's asking me why I got a hat on in my house. Because my hair is out of control, okay? Because I'm a woman, female, and us girls, we like to have our hair looking somewhat decent. So even if I'm in the house, you got to admit, it still looks cool, right? I mean, right? I don't know if it looks cool or not. I'm just being silly. I like the hat, so I wear the hat. Okay? That's all you got to know. There. So we're gonna get into the lesson before I get sassy. All right. We are looking at who are you going to believe? So here's what I want to start with, okay? Now I've been teaching these lessons for like a long time, years and years and years. I've been teaching people this stuff, okay? And I've been teaching people this stuff before YouTube and podcasting ever existed. And I did it in person. So every single day, okay, you have to know this. If you're not aware, we're not supposed to just wake up and just, exist. We're supposed to have a plan, okay? And a purpose. And in that plan and in that purpose, God should be at the center. And what happens if we don't have God at the center of our life and our all of the things that we do, all of our plans and lifestyle? What will happen is our mind will just be wondering, thinking about all the things that us humans think about. And when we think a lot on those things, that we think about, we will act on those things that we think about, okay? And many of those things are random thoughts, that are not so good, with thinking things up, like, why did that girl look at me like that? Was she trying to, we say mad dog. We say mad dog here in San Diego, but it's like, was she trying to give me a mean look? You know, should I give her a mean look back? um, or, like thoughts like, um, you know, I I'm not confident. I'll never be confident. I'll never, ever, ever be able to be confident. Okay. Well, confidence is a learned action. It's a learned act. We learn it. We don't just become it. We learn it. We learn it by observing how our parents were. If our parents were not that, then we relearn things so that we can be better at things. So that is why I always go to school. Short classes, you know, taking, right now it's search and rescue, radio, ham radio, you can probably see that in the background there, which is emergency radio system. And it just keeps my mind growing and learning and being quick and responsive and, able to, do amazing things that are things that I do, to help others. And, I still downplay myself quite a lot, because, some of the things that I've done is a pretty enormous. It's enormous, and a lot of times I have to remember that not a lot of people know the things that I know, especially like at work, when I'm on my regular at work job, which is just a regular secular job. Right now I've been like really, there's a young man and he's been really like, kind of every once in a while he'll come in and he'll ask me a few questions, about the way people act and, how should he respond and is this correct? And, things like this. So lately I've been kind of, not directly coaching him, but kind of giving him some things, some teachable things to hold on to be able to act on, so that it's not so abstract, whatever his mind is doing, and that he's bugged about, that he's irritated about, because you get irritated at work. Someone says this and somebody complained about you that or whatever, and you're just like, what, that, where does that come from? And so I've been giving him some tools to work with, right? Without giving too much. And the thing here is like, no one knows who I am. They don't know that that I do have a podcast. They don't know that I've, led a church. They don't know these things, right? So some people do, but not quite a lot of people don't know that, or the magnitude in which I've been doing this for many years, right? And travel the world and things, doing missionary work and stuff as a humanitarian as well. So I also have to remember that, when I'm responding to certain things, I have to remember that some people don't have that awareness, and I have to bring them along with me. I have to teach them a little bit, not in a direct manner though, just in a kind of, I'm your coworker kind of manner, right? So that all requires being highly aware of who you are and your knowledge and who you're surrounded by. So you got to know the whole scenario. You have to know everyone that it's a whole multi-purpose, multi, what's it called? Tasking situation. So, um, and what I want to share with you is that when you wake up in the morning, we have the ability to take control of the day. For you to go to work, you can take control. You can take, as soon as you wake up in the morning, you can stop the negative thinking and you can decide that I can go throughout my day and I have the power. I control the power to set the tone of the day. Okay. Sometimes you don't want to do that. There are days when I don't want to do that. I just don't. I just want to just be Gloria. That's it. I don't want to be the teacher. I don't want to be the title. I don't want to be that title. I don't want to be this title. I just want to be Gloria. That's it. You know? um, but with all the knowledge that I have, there holds responsibility to that. So, there's some responsibility to that. And I'm aware of that. I'm aware of the power of that responsibility. So I take that serious, even though I'm a silly, person. I do take some of that very serious. So yes, when I wake up in the morning, I reflect on the thoughts, that I have, that I think, that I'm aware of, that I'm pondering on, and I'm thinking to myself, what do I want to do with this? Is this something that really needs some, some navigation, like bringing it under the word of God? Um, you know, do I need to really look at it in that sense? Or, you know, can I just, leave that in the back burner? It's okay. It's not doing nothing. And move on to the next, thought that I'm thinking. And many times we're not even aware that we think these things until we stop and we look at that. The exercise that I did with people was have them write down 5 things that they think that are negative and 5 things that they think that are positive. And the exercise that I would do was I would have, put the negative stuff in a basket, mix it up, and have some stranger, in the classroom, pull it out and read it to them. Read it to them like they're telling them off, right? It could be like, you're so stupid, that might be the negative thing that you write. I feel like I'm so stupid half the time, And so the other person would read that and they would stand in front of them and say, "You're so stupid all the time," right? And then I would ask the person, "What did that make you feel like?" And they almost 100% of the time would say, "I feel like beating them up. Like, forget you. That's not the truth. I'm not stupid. Like, y'all want to defend myself, right?" So if somebody were to really tell you, some stranger were to come up to you and tell you the negative things that you think on a daily basis, you would want to beat them up. Okay. But that's what you do to yourself. You start telling yourself all these negative things, right? Um, And many of those things are not really the truth. It might be, a um, partial truth, but the truth of the matter is that we all are able to catch ourselves, and we can grow from the things that aren't so good. We can make the changes. And the lie is that we can't make the changes. But the truth is that we can, and we can through Jesus Christ. How do I know that? Because I've seen people I've been serving God for what, like nearly 40 years now, okay? I came to know Jesus when I was just a young girl, thank God. I didn't get involved in all the craziness that young people get involved in, because I started serving God at a young age. And so, I seen people who didn't get saved at a young age. They got involved in a lot of stuff, really, really not so good stuff, and they really could have destroyed their life. But they accepted Jesus Christ. And in that accepting Jesus Christ, I watched people transform their lives, giving God the glory. And people, they got off of drugs and alcohol. They became preachers, or, they just became, they just, went through some training and learning and became good parents, people that, at once were disconnected with their families, became connected with their families, people that, lost custody of their kids, even gained custody of their kids. Just so many crazy, amazing things I have seen through the time of serving God. So how do I know that people can change? Because I witnessed it. I seen it with my own eyes. I seen people change. If they can change, so can you. If you need to, if you want to. You know. So the fact of the matter is, there are truths and there are lies. And there is a person, Jesus, who is the truth. And there is a person, Satan, who is the lie. He is the chief of liars. He's the deceiver. And all he is here for is to steal, kill, and to destroy our lives. He's real. So how do I know that? Because I've witnessed that. I've seen that. I've seen some real crazy stuff serving God, that might blow your mind, and some of you here following me, you've seen that too. You've witnessed that. You've witnessed some pretty evil things out there in the world that have to do with the devil. So, how do we know he's real? Because there's evil in the world. But above all evil, there's Jesus Christ, who came for all good. He came to bring good to our lives, okay? So my question to you is, who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe the truth, or are you going to believe the lie? So for every truth God gives, Satan has a counter, a lie to dissuade us from believing that truth. This conflict can be demonstrated using the principles that we discussed previously, right? So previously, what did we look at, right? We looked at the I ams. We are God's creation, right? And we looked at the I ams. I gave you a few of the I ams, which are I am created in the image of God, in Genesis 1:26 through 27, right? And it keeps going. I am created to mourn with those who mourn and rejoice with those who rejoice, in Romans 12:15. And it goes and it like reminds us over and over and over who we are as God's creation. And so God tells us to confess, and that if we do, he will heal us. Okay. And Satan tells us that if we confess, we will feel worse and be rejected. Okay. So Satan is constantly trying to give us this counterfeit, trying to separate us. But how do we don't know that if we don't know what the Bible says. We can't know that. We just believe, and we know that something is not right. I mean, I was 5 years old, and I knew that something evil was talking to me and something good was talking to me. At one point, that there was an angel that was out looking after me, and it was saying, she belongs to God and you can't have her. And I was, I knew that there was good and evil happening. So you must know throughout the course of your life that there has been some good and some evil happening. You must have been aware of that somewhere, somehow down the line. You may not clearly have understood, like me at 5 years old, and clearly, couldn't like articulate it, but I knew, I was aware that there was something that was God that was speaking. And so that's what I want to kind of make you realize and think about and be aware of. Some lies are very hard not to believe. So because we may have been told from birth that there is something wrong with us. Many of us have, right? So, if you think about it, many of us, from the day one, we were kids, and we used to say things to other kids, being mean and everything, we didn't know the power of those words. And so, like, we still to this day, when I meet people, for instance, like we used to say that we had an alligator, or a crocodile under our house, because we had this basement thing under a house. And what we had under there was, we had our mini bikes, our little motorcycles, mini bikes, and BMXs and things like that under there. And we made up this story that there was a crocodile under there. And we had a neighbor who had a pool, a rich lady up the hill. She had a pool, and she had a floaty, one of those floating, floaty, what's it called? I don't know, the blow up thing. And it was a blow up crocodile, okay, that we put under the house facing towards the door. And We would tell everybody, like if it was a true story, we would tell everyone, oh yeah, we don't go under there because there's a crocodile under the house, right? So so there have been thieves who said to this day, grown men that, trying to steal from us, just for kids from the neighborhood and stuff like that. Now that everybody's all grown up, but they were trying to steal my bike, and they said they went under the house, and they came face to face with the crocodile. And so they were so scared that they would not even come up the hill to be around the house. And I would run into them in the neighborhood, after growing up, and they would say, hey, do you still have that crocodile under the house? Like if it was still, if I mean, like if it would still be alive, like, under there. And I would always say, yeah, I was a grown up, and I would still be saying, yeah, it's still there. Like, when am I ever going to tell them that that was a blow up little thing? Like, I'm only barely telling that now, the truth of that story. So, if you grew up over at the four corners of death, you know where that's at, the crossways between Euclid Ave and Imperial Ave. Well, I lived on Skyline on a private hill. Yeah, we told everybody that they still think there's a crocodile over there. So, anyway, let me move further on. So, you may have been told lies since you were a kid that you believed, right? That you believed were true. Um, and finally, the truth has come out, and some lies may have made you scared. Like, I mean, scared to the core. And you find out when you're grown that that was all a lie, but you're still in that scared to the core, feeling, and you don't know how to fight against that. And the way that we fight against that is through God's word and knowing who we are in Him, and knowing our power, our authority, the goodness that He brings to our life. So, God is good. Anyway, let me move forward. John 10:10 says, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the fullest." Have it to the fullest. Have God, have life to the fullest. So that is a verse that you may want to memorize. I don't know. God is just so good. He's so good. And like, I sometimes feel guilty for being mean. Kinda. We were just kids, but you know, we really scared some kids with that crocodile story. Like, I mean, if a grown man is coming, more, not just one, but like a lot of different kids, grown people, would ask me still to this day about that question about the crocodile. So we were really scaring some people. So, oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel kind of guilty about that. Now that I'm a Christian, I feel I feel that a little bit, kind of. But let me see. Um, in talking about, being a child and the things that we believe as a child, the things that we believed, the things how we spoke as a child, I want to remind us that we are no longer children. So if you're like on my YouTube, I'm pretty sure you're not a child, okay? I'm pretty sure you're an adult. And, you know, a child will speak as a child, but an adult has a choice to speak as an adult. And we have to make that awareness come to pass ourselves. We have to know that. We have to study. We have to read. We have to, find the wisdom to be grown. That all comes with training. So, we have to seek that out for ourselves. And this is what I'm doing today. I'm giving you some training to take away, to give to you, a little bit more than what I teach my coworker at work, the young man that asks me questions here and there and things like that. There's a lot of things that get asked, just kind of in casual talking, but I know that it's kind of a pulling for advice. What do you think about? They're not asking a direct, what do you think about this? But it is a, if they're putting that out there, it is a kind of, pulling for some guidance. How do I handle this? What do I do? Right. And so I am aware of that. I pretend like I'm not. I hope none of my coworkers are listening to this, but there's a thing that I do, and I do it on purpose. And it's basically just that I'm pretending like I'm doing something or writing something, and I'll like give some advice without giving a whole lot of eye contact, because young men are very uncomfortable with a whole lot of eye contact. Okay. So sometimes, but you don't want to be avoidant too much. You want to look and then, act like I'm writing or something like that. And I'll give some tools, and then I'll give the reason why. This is why you want to do this. This is why, if you do this, then this is the repercussion of that. Or if you do this, then this is the good thing that will turn out of that, right? Kind of like that. So, and I always leave the responsibility on the person. If they're grown and they're an adult, that responsibility is theirs. It's not mine. I just give it to you. It's your responsibility to do something with it. I was talking to another grown person about, what they eat, the stuff that you put in your body, and they were saying that they eat cookies all day long, cookies and coffee, like nothing else, nothing healthy, no protein. I'm like, well, okay, let's look at what you've been eating. Okay. It's okay for you to eat the cookies, but you can't just eat the cookies. You have to have some type of protein, a good clean, with no other, packaging ingredients to it, just plain good, clean protein, chicken, fish, beef, something like that. That will give you some nutrition, and if you're not going to eat your green vegetables, then, just the easiest thing to eat, which has all the nutrition that you need as far as greens, is spinach. Just eat the spinach. If you're not going to eat the spinach, blend it in a blender and drink it. So I know that I need greens, and I'm not going to be eating greens every day, okay? Because I am not a cow. I'm not going to be grazing on that. But I love the smoothies. I don't want all the calories, but so what I'll do is I'll put the spinach, frozen spinach, in the blender with a few mango slices. And I'll put a few mango slices in there with just water, not almond milk, not any other weird stuff, just water. And I'll blend it into, a good clean smoothie, and I'll just drink the greens like that, and it tastes good. It's good. It's fine. I can drink it. It's fine. And that gives me the nutrition that I need. I'm not eating, I have a busy lifestyle. So, I have boiled eggs that I have ready to go all the time in my fridge. So I boil them, about 6 of them, and then I'll put them in there. And, if I get hungry and I'm going to be, once that hunger kicks in, I'm going to be wanting to reach for, cookies or some kind of something, something easy to just eat real quick. But I know that I have those eggs in there. And once those eggs, I eat them, that protein kicks in, the craving for the sugar is not going to be there. Like, it's going to be literally eliminated. Okay. So, now I know that, but are there times when I don't listen to that? Yeah, because I'm human, So there are times when I don't listen to that, and that is my choice as a grown person, right? Just like it's your choice to decide what you're going to eat yourself. That is your responsibility, your choice, right? There are repercussions to those choices that you have to weigh that out. Am I going to be okay with the repercussions of that? And if I'm not, if it doesn't go well, am I ready to take responsibility for that? Right? So if you're going to do something, then it's your responsibility, not mine, not anyone else's. It's your choice, and you reap whatever that is. You're going to reap good because you did good, or you're going to reap bad because you did bad. Okay. So, no one can live out the course of your life for you. You have to live it out. This is the advice that I was given to someone. I had to tell them straight. If you pick up that yucky white bread, the store-bought white bread, I don't care if it's wheat and someone told you it's healthy. It's not. It will never be healthy. I don't care how much wheat you say is in that. Wheat, just because it says wheat doesn't mean it's good for you. It's not at all. Wheat, white, if it's packaged and it sits on a shelf for weeks, it's not, you should not be eating that. And are there alternatives? Kind of. Sourdough with maybe 3 to 4 ingredients in it can kind of be okay, but you have to weigh those out. You have to learn that. I had to learn that, and I don't know everything. I know some things to sustain me. I don't know everything, right? So I'm still learning every day, and curiosity is good to have. Good for you to keep that, what's it called? We'll just say curiosity because I can't think of the word. To keep that curiosity going in your life, to keep learning how to keep your body strong, right? There are some certain things that I want to learn to keep my body stronger. I am strong, very strong. I got a reputation for picking up a 300-pound man at work. But, I want to be better, though. And so, I want to continue to keep stronger and stronger. As I age, I want to keep very strong. So, that comes with learning, gaining some knowledge, doing the thing, right? Doing that thing that is good for you. Um, and I don't always do things that are good for me. So, like, I was telling my friend, you can have that cookie if you're eating like clean all the time, and that's what your regular routine is, that you eat good all the time, a healthy protein, some greens, and you're drinking good water, you're not drinking all kinds of juices and, believing the lie that those juices are good for you. um, then yeah, you can have that cookie, and you're going to be fine. Um, but you can't live off of cookies. You can't do that. So when I was a child, I believed like a child. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. When I was a child, I acted out like a child. Um, you know, but if you're on my YouTube right now, you're not a child, you're grown. Okay? So we put all childish ways away. We put them away, okay? Is it okay to be funny and play around and, to be youthful? That's different. Youthfulness is different. To be alive and living and adventurous and having fun, that's different. But when you have no substance in your head and you're not thinking about any of the consequences or, you know, or actions that you do towards people or in your own life, and that is childish. Okay, that's childish. So we have to have some kind of wisdom and awareness that is learnt, given to us because we learned it. Recently, I have been looking at photos of myself and thinking about some of the things that, I loved as a child. Naturally, just it's was that I inherited or whatever you call it. And looking at some of the things, that is me to the core, right? Not me that I've developed because of, outside influences or whatever, but the me that just is me. Um, I used to play the piano. I knew the chord, the what is it called? Things. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't play the piano at all. But when I was a kid, I did. And I learned, and I taught myself, and I learned how to play. And I used to sing. I was used to sing, and can carry a tune, and I can sing and I can carry a tune. Okay. Um, but I believed that I didn't have those qualities. I believed that that wasn't for me. That's not for me, Um, down the line that you become, older and you start comparing yourself to other people. We do this in this Instagram culture. We start comparing ourselves that, I'm not as good as that person. So maybe that's not for me. Right. And that could be furthest from the truth, really. Some people that are singers and stuff, they really can't sing. They really can't, but they believe that they can influence. Okay, they know, they have some awareness that they're not singing, like properly, and can carry somewhat of a tune, but they believe and they know that they can be creative and they can be that they're great at influencing. So there's a difference, right? Um, so that comes with, you know, as you grow and as you grow to adulthood, you have the power to make things happen. Okay, you have the ability to believe or not to believe. And so now that we've kind of went through some of these lessons, kind of getting our mind to thinking about some things, like the way that we wake up in the morning. What are we thinking about? What is our mind on? Is it negative? Is it really, really negative? That's going to spiral us into a depression, because some of you wake up and you are already spiraling into a depression because you've allowed your mind to just go. You believed that whatever outside influences, words that other people have said, or your comparison to other people, that you're not as good as, has spiraled you into, a belief system that isn't the truth. And you have the power to gain it back. It's yours. What are you going to do with it? So you can stop and you can say, I'm not going to believe that. No, I can make the changes. I can do better. I can learn to be better. I can teach myself, or I can get around somebody who has those qualities that I want to glean from. I want to know how to do that, right? So that's what I did when I became a podcaster. I got, I, asked people, I said, what is that equipment that you got? Just give me the list of things and I'll just copy that. Right. And so they gave me the list and where they bought it from, And as I went into the store to go and purchase the things, I began to learn other things. And then the guy behind the counter just starts showing you other things. And, I ended up coming home with this mic here, this lavalier, which is absolutely amazing, super strong. I've used it for, the first part of my podcasting for years and years. It came in this cool little, purse thing. And I don't have it hooked up right now because I have this is even better than this. Okay. So this was given to me. This is really a really good mic. I hope it's not staticky today. But from the days that I was, starting podcasting, there was, this was new to being able to be connected to a smartphone. So all of that kind of thing was brand new. So you didn't have a whole lot of equipment that were where you were connecting straight into your smartphone. So you were connecting into your laptop, or even an iPad as well. So now it just is endless of the type of equipment that you can get. And that was a side note. That was a real side note there. But anyway, you just learn. You start to learn. And as you learn, you meet people those people know people and they say, oh, go over here, go talk to this person. They know about this and this and that. Then that person will say, oh, no, use this. I use this, right? And so you're just like, okay, and I ended up with all kinds of different things that work well for me. I didn't know how to do lighting or anything. I still really don't know how to do lighting, but um, you know, and one of the things that I always said that I was going to do is that I am better at doing lives. I'm better at doing real-time video instead of, doing a video and then editing it to death and then, finally saying, okay, it's all edited out and I'm going to pop it in there. I don't feel like I'm talking to like a live audience like I am today with you guys, where I can see Jewett, I can see Casey, I can see, El Giovanni OFC or something, I can see people from Brazil. I can see, who's there. I can say hi. They can say hi back to me. Well, he's not saying hi to me. He's saying I love you. But you know, I can have a back and forth thing. I can't do that with an edited video. The edited video is just, me alone in my room talking to the camera and then popping it in there and, hoping that somebody says hi to me. So, that's not my style. Um, you know, and even though I'm more of a shy person, um, I am a deep, meaningful person. So I like deep, meaningful, I just like people to talk to me, okay? Like, just talk to me. And I like to have, well put together conversations. I lived in England for a zillion years, okay? So like, I have learned the hopefully a little bit, somewhat, have learned how to have a really good conversation over tea, right? So, I I want that is important to me. So, I just like people to, I don't like people that like, 1 minute they're saying hi to me and the next minute they don't know me. I'm like, yeah, no. So, but, uh, I like people to be grown and talk to me. Just say hi to me. How's the weather? You don't know what to say, just say, hey, uh, your hat looks cool. I like your shoes. That's what I do all day long. I do that all day long. You have a great sweater. Wow, where did you get it? They start telling me where they got it. Wow, oh, those are nice shoes. Today we were talking about Cortez, Nikes, Cortez. And I was like, I had me a pair of Cortez, you know, trainers in the 70s. They're from the 70s. I had them when they first came out. They weren't in like any special, posh, expensive store. They were at Kmart. So they were gold suede with a white Nike swish or whatever that thing is called. And still to this day, I have been looking for that gold suede Nike Cortez. And if I ever got them, I will marry you. Okay? Just kidding. But tea is not overrated. It is not. Okay? So, tea, I'm just saying tea because that's what I was drinking. I drink coffee too. Okay. Um, Somebody's asking me if they can twerk. Um, hey, happy Sunday to you too, Danny. Somebody say happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. You were a singer? Somebody says you were a singer. I was a singer. Yes, I was in a band. Like for reals, I was in a band. I was in a band and we traveled all over the United States and into parts of Mexico. I kid you not, I was in a band. I forgot the name of the band. But I was in a band in the 80s, okay? Seriously, I was a singer. I forgot about that. I mean, I forgot. It was short-lived, but yeah, for reals. Hi, are you related to Greta Medrano? No, I'm sorry. I am not I'm not a true blood Medrano. I'm a Sanchez. Okay. So I might be related to some Sanchez. Medrano is not my blood name. Um, so yeah, sorry. I'm actually a Sanchez. Um, I love Brazilian. Yes. I love when my Brazilian friends pop in here. uh Anthony, hi Anthony. Hi on Unique War. Who are you? They say. Who are you? Who are you? Um Popo Filippo. Remember those days when TV were not colored, just black and white? I do remember that. I remember watching black and white TV with my dad, and we would watch John Wayne cowboy movies. And the television had tubes, like actual like a light bulb that you would stick in. It was like a plug in, um, and that was how, like, if one of your tubes went out, you'd have to replace the tube in there. Oh, YouTube watcher. So what kind of bread can you eat? So I wouldn't eat any bread. Like, no, I'm just kidding. You could eat flat bread. You could eat like flat, like, I tell you what, I don't know if you've ever heard of naan bread. Naan bread is an Indian bread, like Indian from India. Indian from India. It's called naan bread, and it's just a flat bread. And they have all the different kinds. Pita bread is also it's good. Um, you know, Sourdough is probably is good. It's okay. Sourdough bread is okay. But I would say, any fresh and the least ingredients as possible. Like, just if it has like four ingredients, you're good. Like, just if you can't understand what the ingredient is in it, don't eat it. It's gross. It's not good. Because all it is just some kind of preservatives and all kinds of weird stuff that they put in there that isn't even real food. Excuse me. But yeah, any kind of like a flat, what I call it a flat bread, um, that isn't made with like a whole lot of lard and stuff. Like tortillas, flour tortillas are made with like, you know, a lot of lard, like mostly lard. Okay. Um, Oh, I'm not talking politics, sorry. Um, Thank you, Odin. Donnie Gomez says, I need love advice. Yeah, me too. um, just love Jesus. Love Jesus. And here's my advice for you, okay? Like, live, be happy. Be happy, live your life, love Jesus, do your thing. And in the middle of doing your thing, you're going to meet someone who likes that thing that you do. And you're just going to naturally come together. You know, you don't know where you might meet. It's just somebody just, one day out of the blue, you turn around and there's that person and you're just like, where did you come from? Where did you go? You just came randomly out of nowhere, you know? And, next thing you know, you're just like, someone's got your attention and you're just like, where did that come from? Like, what is happening right now? And, and you just keep doing your thing, living your life and being happy. Be happy, because nobody wants to be with somebody who's, got issues. I got issues. I mean, I got issues, but nobody wants to be with somebody who isn't working on their issues. Okay. And isn't happy. Don't you want to live, a life that is, filled with good intentions, not ill intentions, right? You want to live with good intentions. And people who have, good intentions, and they have some ability no one's perfect, but, some kind of foundation where they are, trying to have some kind of a good character, you know? So you don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know what people got, until you start to just talk to people, until you talk to them. But that comes with getting to know people. And I would say take it real slow, like get to know people, um, in a slow way. And hey, Kenya, what is up? Evans from Kenya. And then May says hi. I Love Jesus says hi. Joker Slayer, what is up? Says hi. G, that is me. G, that is me. Hi. I don't know the person's name. Let me see. Influx Bloom says hi. Oh, a nice guy says you rock. Thank you. Mr. Happy Banana says I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Mr. Nice Guy says, chill out, dude. Chill out. Because somebody's just typing expired, expired, expired. No, the person who's expired is you. I'm sorry. Hello, Gloria. What is up? Somebody says 55567. The Rock. The Rock is here. The Rock says, I would like to take you for coffee. Are you you single, honey? I get a lot of that. The people ask me that all the time. Are you single, honey? They don't say honey though. I'm not. I'm never gonna be called honey again. Sorry. No, please no. Never. Not honey ever again. Okay. So, anyways, let's move forward. Would you consider becoming a Muslim by reading the Quran? So here's the thing, Faith, Yul, Maz, or whatever. So, I don't tear down other people's beliefs, okay? I'm not stuck up about what I believe. I don't discredit what other people believe, you know, kind of, not really, but I'm not that person. That's not going to be me. And I don't debate. I don't debate with people. I'm not here for that. That's not my teaching. I'm not here for that. I am a wellness creator. I'm a connector, and I'm here to help people heal in their mind and in their emotions, you know, through the Word of God, which is the Bible, not the Quran. So, and because this is my YouTube channel, I teach on the Bible, and because this is my YouTube page, I teach that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. So no one can come to God except through Jesus Christ. Because this is my YouTube page, that's what I believe and that's what I teach, but I do not debate. I don't debate that. I already have a belief. And will I become a Muslim? No. No. Never. It is not what I believe. If that's what you believe, good on you. I don't care, actually. I don't really care. But and I'm not upset that you asked me that. But I'm not here for that. So I don't care about those things, because I can't change someone's mind, but I can be me. I can be me, and I can be a believer in what I believe, which is Jesus the Messiah. And so, for 40 years and seeing many miracles happen through that. Okay. I don't know that any Muslim has seen miracles, but I am not here to know that. I don't know that. So, but, when I was young, I was a Buddhist. I know, sounds weird, huh? No, truly I was. And I was convicted. I felt convicted. And I didn't know that I was supposed to be convicted. I felt convicted. And so I changed. Someone said, read the Bible. And I did. And I felt it to be right. I knew it to be right. I knew it in my body, in my being, in my spirit, basically. I knew it to be right. And I still know it to be right in my belief. So, but I'm not here to debate that. So, but that's just me. Other people may debate, and all the things and go round in circles on that. But that's not what I do on my page. That's not, that's not my nature. That's not what I do. That's not how I do things. You know, I am strong-willed. I believe what I believe. You know, I'm just a Gloria that is teaching people how to heal from emotional harm, or giving people tools to go home with. They don't have to believe. This isn't a page where you have to be a Christian in order to be on my YouTube and listen to my teachings. I'm not a church. I'm not any of those. I mean, I am kind of a church, kind of a church I am, but, you know, but I'm not the person that says, kicks you out of here because, you're not believing what I believe. I don't care if you believe what I believe or not. I believe what I believe. But, some people are just here because they want the tools. They want the tools. They want to know how, to have the skills to, be in a good relationship, to, heal from past, wounded relationships, to understand that when they are drug and alcohol free, that you don't just stop there. You have to continue to grow. And that requires you to go after that growth and be around people who have the skills and means and ability to do, to that you can glean off of, that you can learn from. So, otherwise you won't learn. If you're around the same old people, you're not gonna, there's not gonna be no growth in you. And you won't have any skills or anything to give to others. Okay. Giving things to others requires you to be just that slightly above other people, slightly, not above like an arrogant way, but slightly more knowledgeable than another person might be, in a certain subject, right? So that's why I'm constantly learning, constantly, trying to figure something out, or, taking other classes that are not just Christian stuff, that are not just biblical, but they're also community help works, such as learning, search and rescue, or learning with the San Diego Police Department, helping them out, on their crisis team, um, doing other things that are community work that help you to be out, sharing the things that you have, the skills that you have, or knowledge that you have, gifts, abilities that you have, not just at church, but in your community where people probably need God more. Those people at church already have God. They already go to church. Where God is needed is out in our community where people don't have God. Okay? That is, and getting involved in community work is a kind of a way to outreach without, standing on a corner with a bullhorn saying, Jesus loves you. Cars going by and you're like, Jesus loves you. Or standing with your sign that says Jesus loves you. Getting involved in community is way better. Way better. It's teaching you skills on how to help, and you having also a spiritual ability to help. Sorry, I'm giving you attitude right now, but I'm just being sassy. Love you guys. I mean, sometimes we are so like spiritually minded that we're no earthly good. We want to be down to earth and earthly available to people who really need us, need our advice, help, or whatever, Hi, Brazil in the house again. Let me see. Somebody needs some toilet seat covers because they're nasty. You probably don't want to mess with me. I look. When I was a kid, we called it basing. Okay, we called it basing. Um, okay, I had my friends were some of the best basers. Well, you know what basing is, or capping. We used to say. My dad used to say, you capping on people." Stop capping on people. It's um, it's having a good comeback. Okay, I don't do that anymore because you know some people get offended. They don't understand the capping culture. But yeah, I'm pretty good at it. Okay, so though I'm a Christian, I have some good clean comebacks. So don't mess with me. Okay, you never mess with somebody who's got the mic. Hello, Josh. Tupac or Notorious B.I.G. I'm not going to answer that, okay? I am not going to answer that. Bacon girl. Do you eat fries? I totally eat fries. Like I totally eat the fries. I eat the fries. I love fries so much. I love fries. Oh my gosh, especially English fries, like an open bag of what we call them chips. We I'm not English, but I live there. Um, an open bag of chips from England at a kebab shop. Have you ever had that? If you've never had open bag of chips at the kebab shop, oh my God. Okay. Like I want some right now. Man, they are so good. They are like giant fries. They're so good. Um, and the kebab is it's like the flatbread pita with, you know, rotisserie, not rotisserie. What is that? What kind of chicken is it? I don't know. It looks like a barbecue chicken, like it's barbecued or something. I know it's not rotisserie, but it's some kind of barbecued um way that they cooked it. And pretty healthy stuff, you know. Oh, I love that so much. Miss it. Um so yes, bacon girl. I like bacon too. Nasser. Are they're like, you don't party? You don't party? Listen, listen. I party, okay? Like I party, okay? You don't know. Like I I'm a former Zumba instructor. I laugh at that because I am. I'm a former Zumba instructor. Um, yeah, I can dance. I don't dance like like I used to. I don't dance like I used to. Um, but you know, do I get on the dance floor? Yes. Yeah. You know, I like to have fun. Um, yeah. But I don't do nightclubs and all that. I am not that age. That's age related, that's not me being stuck up. That's just age related. I am not into no noisy, sweaty, yucky nightclub. That is not my thing. My cousin took me once, and I was older, like a couple of years back, and I hated it. I was like, oh my god, this is awful. What was there even to like in here? It was loud and my ears were hurting. No, no, that's not my thing. Um, Now, like, going to a wedding. I love weddings. That is the best. That is the most fun place to be, like to go dancing. um, you know, a house party, somebody's birthday party, patio dancing at their backyard, that is so much fun. Um, but yeah, you know, I'm generally, I was going to say I'm not really a nature freak, kind of a little bit the zoo. I like the zoo and, I don't, I used to paddle out on a surfboard. Okay. Um, I'm an excellent swimmer. I can paddle out on the surfboard. Um, it's, I'm single, so I don't like to go by myself on the surfboard. But can I go out there? Yeah, but I don't go out by myself, you know, anymore or anything like that. Um, you know, if I had another friend or somebody that paddled out, I would totally paddle out. You know, um, and you would see. But more so, I like you know going on the kayak or something like that. Something calm and I'm kind of a daredevil, so I kind of like adrenaline rush and things like that. Maybe not so much like I did when I was a kid, but yeah, uh, you know, Bacon Girl says, I also love God. What? Bling Gong says, you bugging. I don't know what that means. I'm a bugaloo. But I'm a bugaloo. You can call me a bugaloo. You don't know what that is, right? You don't know. You know what I'm talking about, huh? If you're my age, you might know what I'm talking about. It's an old TV program called The Bugaloos. My favorite ever. um, where are you from? Where are you from? I am from the United States, obviously. I'm from the United States of America. I'm in San Diego, though. I'm in San Diego. Jose Alonso. Hi, Jose Alonso. Hi. I'm from India. I like spicy food. Oh, Nasarla is from India. He likes spicy food. I like tikka masala. And I like um what are those things called that they're like an empanada? What's it called? I forgot the name of it. I like them. They're like a Indian taco. I like Indian food. I like the Indian food. Had a couple of different dishes. Not probably not everything, but Bacon Girl says, "Oh, she likes my vids. Oh, thank you. Really appreciate that. That's very encouraging." I do not believe in hypnosis. No. No, I don't. I don't get all into that stuff. No, sorry. I'm not into hypnosis. Um, that's not my it's not my thing. Um, have you done braids? Emily. Oh, I have done braids. I'm not like I actually, yeah, I used to wear some pretty cool braids actually. So there used to be this movie. It was this movie called 10 with an actress by the name of Bo Derek. She had braids, right? So I had those braids. I had those braids at one time. Um, yeah, I've worn different style braids before, but not anymore. I don't wear braids really anymore. I may wear a braid. At work, I wore braids, just playing around. You know, I was just playing around wearing the braids. Just to make people happy and cheer people up and stuff. Um, Made myself look silly. you know, I'm like, man, if some cute guy comes along, I'm gonna be looking like a dork. um, can I ask one question, madame? I think you asked it already. Let me see. Let's go down. Oh yeah, I don't care. I don't. You can say hello, beautiful, but don't call me honey. I don't like honey. I don't like it at all. Don't call me honey. Um, you guys are so cute. Oh my gosh, thank you. um, okay, so I think I read all these already. Most of you. Sorry if I missed anyone. I was trying to give shout outs to most people, and I'm not giving shout outs to people that are being rude. Hardly any rude people tonight. So blessed by that. You guys are awesome. uh Last week we had quite a few rude people, but no one today. One, maybe one, just one rude person. Kelly, hi Kelly. Kelly, what's up? I Gee, thanks. Somebody said I got a long face. I got a long face. Hello, Ak. Ak. Just passing by to wish you a great night and send you a big hug. Oh, sending hugs back. I'm sending hugs back. I can't pronounce your name. Jer Vitol. Okay. Let me see. Hi, Canal. Canal is from Brazil. Oh, lots of Brazil. Wow, San Diego. Yeah, San Diego. Me, Gun Gaga. Me gone Gaga? I don't know. Yes, I am in San Diego. They said, you're muted. Am I muted? I hope not. Okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. And somebody says I'm intercepting the hugs and I'm crushing them. You can't. I have superpowers. My superpowers override yours. You have none. So my superpowers are from Jesus. Jesus is above all. So anyway, bye. I love you guys. Praying for you. God bless you. May God continue to give you peace in your families and give you well-being, and for God to just continue to bless you in your finances, in, in your extended families, and in your health, and in all of those things, um, where you need love and prayer. And in your relationships too. Some people were asking about relationships. If you want me to talk more about that, maybe I will talk some more, a little bit more on relationships and stuff. Um, but for now, it's all about looking at how you can heal from any wounds that you may have, and that is by having awareness. So if you just go about life, and you don't even look at anything, you're not aware of how you respond, or react, or you know things that bug you, and why does that bug you like that, and how do you get it to stop. If you're not looking at all of those things, then that is not good. That's not a good thing. You want to be in a place where you're looking at that, you're trying to work that out. And some of that may require going to a counselor or a therapist or something. And for others, you may never need to go to a therapist. You can just, you know, go to church, read your word, and learn what the Bible says, who you are, you know, and allow God to change you. And in that, you're learning, you're growing, you're being aware of yourself. Some people are more aware of who they are and how they act and things, and how they respond to things. Others are not. But if you are there, and that probably is the time where you're ready to have something to give to someone. So you got to be in a place where you have something to give to someone. You have you have the time, you have the love, excuse me, just ate. You have the love, you have the time, you have the knowing how to care for someone. But you're not needy. You're not like overly needy. Because you have a life of your own. You have things that you do already. You have things that you love, hobbies that you like to do. You have friends that you care much about, that are in your life, and that's a good time to say, I think I'm ready to be in a relationship. But if you don't have those things, and you get into a relationship and you're just like, starving for attention, and you're doing all kinds of weird stuff because you're starving for attention, you're probably not in a good place. Um, but, healthy people, um, are just simply attracted to each other. They just simply starts with just like, for Christians too. Christians make it all weird. They do. They make it all weird. And it's not meant to be all weird. God has created us the way that he created us. And we have our own instincts, and we are attracted to someone, and you start talking to someone, and you start, getting to know someone, and you just realize, that you like who that person is. They may be completely different to you. They may be like, having something way different, but it's something that you're curious about. You like learning about that, right? You want to know more about that thing. And it's interesting to you. Now, if there's something that you're really not interested in, and you're just like, you're just weird, then maybe they're not weird, maybe I'm just kidding when I say that, but to you, it may be like, I'm not interested in that at all. Like, you know what I mean? And you'll know because you won't be attracted to, you may at first be attracted, but then you'll start to realize, I'm really not attracted to that. That's not, the place and where I'm going, especially if you have a spiritual, if you're kind of a spiritual person, you definitely want to know that that person is also spiritual too. Are they in the same religion as you? Are they, especially those things? Those are like really vital things. So, are they a believer like you are? Do they love God? Are they living for purpose the same way that you are? Maybe you aren't. So, um, and those are the questions that you have to ask yourself before you start the liking process. Before you start the liking process, not after. You should know that already, and you just know that by just kind of just, hanging out, getting to know someone, little by little, you start to ask those questions and stuff, and, you start to find out more and more. And, um, you know, pretty soon you may be dating. I don't know. I don't know. I'm learning that myself, to be honest. But it's fun. It's interesting, a little bit nerve-wracking, uh, curious, all good stuff. So, um, just go out there, just live, because life goes by real fast. And if you're not living, I don't know what you're doing, you know? And I was just talking to someone about that today, and they were an old person in their 90s. And I had to tell them straight because, they were complaining and complaining. And I said, look, I'm going to just tell you this right now. You got choices. I can't fix you. I can listen to your complaint, but I can't fix it. You have the choice to either be happy, let it go, let the offenses go, because you can't control people. Okay. And once that offense goes, somebody else is going to offend you. So you have to learn to let those offenses just go. Okay. And move forward because you're already too close to meeting Jesus. um, you know, it's coming way too fast, and you got some living to do before you get there. So you need to start living and start being happy, getting out, doing your artwork, and stop the talking about the offenses. Okay. Um, I want you to do that too. You people that are here on my YouTube. And my phone is dying again. I didn't do my battery all the way up. So I think maybe I've been here too long. I love you. I'm going to let you go. Bless you all. Hi, Indonesia in the house. What is up? John 3:16 for sure. Yes. All right. Bye, guys. I'll see you next week on Sunday, 8 p.m. I love you guys. Bye.